Good weekend, everyone. I hope you're all doing amazing so far this week and are having an incredible time with your new LA collections. John Henry here, SSFTG. Welcome to This Week in Review on Upland, where we take a bit of time to discuss what's going on in the Upland metaverse from more of an analytical perspective. Make sure to stick around to see how your favorite city is doing when we break each sector down in our zone-by-zone analysis. If this is your first time on the page, welcome, my friend. I hope to earn your like and subscription today. How healthy is the UPX economy? How is each market sector performing? Which is the best deal and which is the worst? All of the important information that many folks overlook that can be the difference between success and failure. I'm also going to cover what I'm doing personally in the Upland metaverse and what I've been up to as well. If you aren't in Upland yet and are interested in checking it out, click the referral link in the description. It gets you in the game with some starting UPX, and if you decide to invest some cash into the game, you also get that monster 50% bonus on your first UPX purchase with an UPX cap on that bonus of 50,000. Along with that, something new that I'm working on here on the back end of SSFTG, because you use the referral link, you also unlock the ability to use our USP properties. I'm still building this list up because this is still very fresh. I'm just getting this page launched. So for those of you, try not to, bombard me too much here. I think I've only got like 4 or 5 properties in here. But this is a list that I'm going to be building up that allows people who use the referral link to buy at 20% or more below minting prices. Starting a new game is fun. Starting a new game with a huge advantage is even more fun. So let's take a look at what's going on in the Upland metaverse, shall we? First off, on the 7th, we started off, let's go the other way. First off, on the 7th, we started with the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame landmark sale. The landmark sale did end, and Edelschrott was the winner. Congratulations there. Also, on February 7th, we had the announcement of peer-to-peer UPX transfers. I did a video on that that I posted not too long ago. It was kind of a surprise video. This was also kind of a surprise announcement that kind of goes over all of the information here. Really, really cool stuff. And the fact that the peer-to-peer UPX transfers are now out, that is, I mean, that's massive. That opens the doors to so many things. You can listen to me lose my mind on UPX transfers by watching the video. I'll post that in the corner. Along with this, we have on February 8th the Block Explorer Shop beta update for USD listings. This is a pretty big one, especially in the step of the MetaVentures shops and all of these things. This allows not only the ability to make an in-game revenue, but also a way to turn that in-game revenue into an external revenue, something that you could possibly use to even replace a job, that dreaded job, right? The fact that you can utilize USD in Upland in the first place is incredible. I've talked millions of times about it, but having this in the Uplander shop side of things with MetaVentures really, really is an incredibly awesome thing to look forward to as far as business perspectives and all of that. Man, I'm so excited for this. On the 10th, I don't think it's anybody's any surprise to anybody, right? We had the LA collection reveal. The LA collection reveal, I have a video that I'm going to be rendering and launching with the with a live collection reveal. Well, it's not going to be live anymore; it'll be recorded, but that should be coming out in a couple days, so you can watch how that all goes through. But collection reveals are a little bit different. It's not as crazy, it's not as hectic as with new zone launches or anything, but it can be a little bit wild, especially if you're trying to get in the flip game side of things. I didn't do that this much on the collection side of things for Los Angeles this time, but just in general, it can be a very, very crazy time. Actually, I can't say that I did snap up a property on the cheap before it got repriced. I hope all of your properties landed in collections in some sort, and if they didn't, you're not alone. I landed a couple really, really solid ones in Melrose, and those, honestly, the crazy thing is it only takes 2 or 3 really solid hits, and that can compensate for the rest of it. Those 2 hits in Melrose and the one on Santa Monica Boulevard bankrolled my entire trip in Los Angeles. Those 3, that's it. The power of getting some pretty good research in from help with the SSFTG crew and members on the Discord chat. And along with that, just knowing kind of where we can pick up some of these good bets, right? We may not be right. In fact, as far as a batting average, out of all the properties that I bought, I think I ended up buying like almost 50 properties in Los Angeles. Only 3 of them were really big runs. And it's here. We got ourselves the next Spark Week. If you're looking to level up, if you're looking to do a bunch of fun stuff and get that Spark and buy Spark and all that fun stuff, now's the time to do it. We're going to be coming up into February Spark Week. Spark Week is going to be running from Monday, February 14th from 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. That's going to be 12 o'clock Eastern. Make sure that you set your clocks accordingly. That is an hour after it normally they do things. And then they also have the Status Up Spark Rewards, Spark Sales in the Upland store, boosted Spark Treasure Tiers, all kinds of stuff. The Spark Week will conclude, so they're going to finish off on Sunday, February 20th at 11:59 Pacific Standard Time. I have a full video that goes over getting more Spark and leveling up during Spark Weeks. It actually just came out a couple days ago. I'll link that in the corner as well, but make sure to go over that because this is the time where if you want to bag the most value, this is the time. There's also a little bit that I cover going over in upgrading to Pro that utilizes Spark Weeks to get the most value because they are incredible times to level up. And there are a lot of folks that level up outside of Spark Weeks who miss those level ups because with Visitor to Uplander and Uplander to Pro, outside of Spark Up Weeks, you're not necessarily guaranteed to get Spark. During them, you are. So it's a huge value play. And then, of course, and I've got a video planned just specifically for this one, we've got February 11th, Valentine's Day in Upland. Love is in the air in 2022. Valentine's Day is right around the corner, obviously. Don't forget, nobody wants to be that person who forgets about Valentine's Day. That's no fun. As far as Valentine's Day goes, they also have some stuff going on in Upland. They will have the registration for the Block Explorer sale, and you can see those down here, the Chocolate Heart, the Cupid, and the In Love Explorer. And registration for the Block Explorer sale is going to take place on Sunday the 13th. Yes, the 13th, that's tomorrow, at 8 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, with the sale taking place the following day on Monday at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Again, I don't know what's up with these 9 o'clock ones. It's an hour off from the usual, but at 9 o'clock Pacific, they'll have the sale going off. The Love Hunt tier will go live on Monday, February 14th at 9 Pacific Standard Time. So get ready, because that is all going to be taking place very, very soon. A little bit more info about the Block Explorer sale. They're going to be $5 a piece, and you also get 5,000 UPX along with it. That tends to be how they usually do things. A lot of times it's going to be, kind of interesting to see how it all goes, but the registration and all of that can be done right from within Upland. All you got to do is click Get UPX in the top right corner, and it'll be under the specials area. Obviously, that won't show up here until tomorrow on Sunday when they do they launch it. I'm not huge into treasure hunting, but I tell you what, when they have Spark Weeks, I'm a little bit more interested because these treasure tiers look awesome. So just a quick little overview on what those competitive treasure tiers look like. These could be very, very fun to try to hunt for this time around. And then, of course, I already talked about it a little bit here earlier, but the launch of the Upland Resource Zone. This isn't exactly Upland news, this is more personal news, but right on the main page of SSFTG.com, you can do /Upland, and that will bring you right there. But right at the top, you can find our Upland Resource Zone. This is going to be everything from leveling up to Pro Fast, the referral links and all that fun stuff, but also some of the cool things like we talked about earlier, the Upland Starter Pack properties. You can read more about that right there. If you want to see which ones are available, you can go in that list right there with the button. With the button, you can see all the different ones available. Again, I'm still building up this list, and this is something that I do personally, so it takes a little bit of time. It's give me a little bit of slack if it runs a little on the dry side if you guys gobble them up too quick. And then the other fun part is curated properties. Curated properties is something that I'm working on that is fun properties, cool properties, hilarious street views, buildings, businesses, all kinds of cool stuff. And that's what's going to get posted in here, so you can find all of those interesting finds, cool finds, and more info about them all posted in the curated properties. All right, so let's get down to business, shall we? The first thing on the list is going to be the 30-day transactional volume, and we can see that the 30-day transactional volume is hovering just on top of 5 billion. If we look at what happened last week prior to the collection launches and all of that, it was sitting at 5.7, and that was right after the launch of North LA. So a little bit of quite a bit of volatility going on here from the analytics perspective. Realistically, what we're seeing here is a bit of shock to the system, right? We've got the South LA launch, then we've got the North LA launch, then we've got the collection launch. One thing that this is showing us, though, is that before Los Angeles came out, we had a balance that was generally around 100 million, give or take. It did ping pong back and forth quite a bit, but that seemed to be about the range. But notice within that range, right, this range wasn't exactly small. I mean, this dove from 100 all the way down to very little, and then over 100, almost to 150, and then all the way down to very little. It definitely has very large ebbs and flows, and it looks like we're seeing the exact same thing over here. So in terms of the introduction of Los Angeles in the normal ebb and flow that we've been seeing historically, this seems to be like where we're going to find our balance or our playground. And that generally is going to be around, well, before it was around 100 million. Now it looks like if we were to take a median price, kind of cut it in the middle, we'll say probably about 220 million or so, and that would likely be around about the median. That doesn't mean that it can't poke its head above into 400 and drop all the way down to 50, but the median volume, generally speaking, from what we're seeing trend-wise, should start landing at around the 200 to 220 million mark. The more things that are introduced into the Upland economy, the metaverse, the metaventures, vehicles, all this stuff that's coming in is going to likely continue this upward growth that's trying to keep the trajectory on that beautiful 45-degree angle. But overall, there is a lot of back and forth. And now that we've gotten some huge announcements out of the way, the market's going to have to find its balance. The 30-day trading volume, understandably, right before collection launches, basically went to zero. Nobody's trading anything before the collections came out, aside from a few speculations and such. The majority of it is taking place after, obviously, once people know the value that they have or the value that they missed out on, whichever way they want to look at it. But the daily trading volume is jumping up very, very quickly. And if we look at the difference, right, we know that we've got a lot of UPX transacting. We've got the South LA launch, the North LA launch put it to a new high, and then the collection release put it down to about halfway back up to the median price, maybe back to around 250 million. But if we look at the overall daily trading volume, the daily trading volume had the Los Angeles release. South was very, very large. North was about half of that. And we were joking about how likely because everybody was broke, everybody spent all their money in the south portion. Nobody had any money left over for north. And, well, that definitely played its role in the daily trading volume. And if we look at the going into that, now that we've caught collections volume is almost above what the volume was for North LA. So we've got some serious volume returning back up, and we are seeing the median being lifted higher here. So although we are, kind of finding a balance, and there's a huge amount of back and forth here, generally speaking, finding a balance around the 200 to 220 million mark or so, with an average balance of daily trade volume possibly hovering in the 10,000s or more, now especially with that creeping higher after collections, we've got some pretty good underlying strength coming into the Upland economy. And then now it's finally time to go into the zone-by-zone analysis. Who's the biggest winner? Who's the biggest loser? Where are we at as far as things are concerned from the health of each zone? The first one, of course, is Bakersfield. We go down the list alphabetically, so that does jump us around the country a little bit. But we'll start off with Bakersfield. First off, Bakersfield's previous UPX floor was 10,000. The current UPX floor is 9,999. That's only down 0.01%, basically nothing. The previous USD floor was $9.50. The current USD floor is $8.75. That's down 7.89%. Certainly not feeling the best there from that perspective. If we look within the collections, though, this is where some of the biggest moves are taking place. Seven Oaks at Grand Island is down as a base floor price to 20.62%. So the Seven Oaks Island, it's a limited collection, is down 20.62% on the floor price. As far as the biggest gainers, I wish I had one. I'm sorry to report that on the collection side of things, though, Bakersfield only has flats and negatives, so they are definitively in a pullback. If you thought Bakersfield USD dip was bad, though, well, in comes Bronx. Bronx is on a very heavy pullback from the USD side of things. UPX, totally stable. It's like nothing ever happened. The previous UPX floor is at $11,999. The current floor is $11,970. That's only down 0.24%. Super negligible. Again, not really a whole lot there on the UPX side of things. People are definitely getting cash hungry, though. The previous USD floor is $11. The current USD floor is $8.98. That's down 18.36%. Certainly not feeling too great on that side of things. From a collection perspective, the Bronx in and of itself is already down, a decent chunk, just based off of that USD floor. But if we're looking at the UPX side of things on collections, Pelham Bay, which is a 3-piece collection, it's a limited purple collection, the floor on that is down 17.14%. But hey, we have some good news. City Island, which is an exclusive collection in the Bronx, is up to $97,900. That's up 15.18%. So at least we've got a little bit of back and forth on this side. Brooklyn is next up, of course, with the previous UPX floor being $13,197. The current UPX floor, $13,950. That's up 5.71%. Nice little increase on the UPX floor there in Brooklyn. What we're seeing across the board, and it still seems to be true here, is the UPX floor seems to be relatively stable, not bottoming out too bad. At least not yet. There's a couple of them that got dinged. But the USD floor, people are getting cash hungry. The previous USD floor is $11.50. The current floor is $11. That is down 4.35%. From a collection perspective, in the Brooklyn side of things, Bushwick, man, talk about rippers. Bushwick's previous floor, which is just a standard collection, was $15,000. The current floor is $22,999. That's up 53%. Monster of a gain there on the standard collection side with Bushwick. On the downside of things, we do have some downside ones to report as well. Crown Heights, which is also a standard collection, is down 27.24%. It just seems like Bushwick and Crown Heights flip-flopped. Chicago. I don't know why I always feel like I have to give this one a special introduction, but I really love this city. I'm a big fan of Chicago in general. We go there pretty frequently in real life. It's just, one of those things, I guess. But as far as Chicago is concerned, the previous UPX floor was $8,325. The current UPX floor is $7,500. That's down 9.91%. Chicago is on a very nice little value pullback here. Previous USD floor was $7.25. The current floor is $6.99. That's down 3.59% there as well. If we're looking on the collection side of things, unfortunately, on the Chicago side of things, there is only one gainer, which, hey, one is better than none, I suppose. That's going to be in Hyde Park. That is a limited collection. It's up 9.66%. As far as the downside is concerned, the worst loser on the collection side of things is also a limited collection. That's in Milwaukee Ave, down to, it's down 10% to $45,000 on the floor there. Cleveland is next up on the list, and Cleveland is, following suit with the rest of the markets. Previous UPX floor is $9,500. The current UPX floor is $92.98. That's down 2.13%. And again, money hunger seems to be striking the Upland metaverse, with the previous USD floor at $8.43. The current USD floor at $7.50. That is down 11.03%. From a collection perspective, holy moly, we've got some serious changes on the Cleveland side of things. Cuyahoga Valley, which is an exclusive collection, was at $170,000. Now it's at $294,000. That's up 72.94%. Normally, I don't have multiple, ups that I'm going to talk about, but they really don't have any downs. And the next one is a rare collection. Professor Ave is up 51.51%. Another huge ripper. On the downside, the biggest loser that they have is Tremont. That is a limited collection. It was $29,000. Now it's at $26,000. It's down 10.34%. So a nice little value pullback if you're looking to fill up a limited collection. Fresno's next up on the list. The previous UPX floor is $11,899. The current floor is $10,999. That's down 7.56%. The previous USD floor was $10, and the current floor is $8.99. That's down 10.10%. Fresno, once again, on a pretty nice little corrective phase here. And that also continues into the collections pretty aggressively, I might add. In the Fresno side of things, the Lowell collection, which is an exclusive, was at 90,000, now is down to as low as 60,000. That's down 33.33%. That's a pretty big dive there. We also have Olive Ave, which is down 22.22%. On the gain side, at least, we have the Blackstone Ave Limited Collection, which is up 15%. So we do have some back and forth going on with the Fresno side of things. Next up on the list, we head off into Kansas City, and as far as Kansas is concerned, the previous UPX floor is at 9,400. The current UPX floor is at 9,820. That is, that's supposed to be up. I must have fat-fingered the negative, my bad. Up 4.47%. The previous USD floor, money hunger, once again, even strikes in Kansas, was at $8.47. The current floor is at $7.50. That's down 11.45%. Kansas City is the next one up, and heading over to Kansas in general, the previous UPX floor is 9,400. The current UPX floor is at 9,820. That's up 4.47. I must have fat-fingered the negative there, whatever. The previous USD floor is $8.47. The current floor is $7.50. Money hunger strikes Kansas City as well. As far as collections are concerned, we have some serious moves going on with the collection side of things. With the Rare Collection 18th and Vine in downtown EAS, that is up 84%. Huge gainer there. Plaza Westport, which is an exclusive collection, is up 26.58%. And we also have the Limited Collection Main Street is up 31.58%. Monster gains on the collection side as far as Kansas is concerned. Los Angeles is on the list now, and we finally have some data to work with. Although collections are fresh, we don't have any data really to work with there. The collection data, that's going to be jumping all over the place for the next couple weeks. I'm still going to track it, of course, but it's going to be pretty wild over the next few weeks to come. Just like we were talking about with the UPX side of things finding its balance, a lot of that's going to be because of Los Angeles. Looking at Los Angeles, though, the previous UPX floor is at 7,960. The current UPX floor is at 7,989. That is up 0.36%. Relatively stable there. And the USD floor, because it's a relatively new USD market, hasn't changed much there either. The previous floor is at $7.50. The current floor is at $7.39. Even here, a little bit of money hunger strikes with the negative 1.47%. Now, on the collection side of things, we have a video that's going to be going over collections. I'm going to be launching that soon. But as far as the collections are concerned, there were, well, first off, a metric ton of them. And then second off, there were a lot of very expensive collections. We barely saw any of the cheaper areas. It's not like there was a Harbor City collection or anything like that. We have, like, you know, Venice and Pacific Palisades and Westwood and Hollywood and Brentwood and Bel Air. Holy moly, Bel Air is like a 500,000 UPX base mint. It's, I mean, some seriously high-end areas, and it's kind of funny because Los Angeles seems to be following the same thing that it does in real life. It costs like $100,000 to buy a cardboard box in LA, and it seems like in Upland, it's kind of the same deal. If you want to bag some of these even limited collections, I mean, good Lord, Venice is a standard collection, and that thing was like 40,000 mint each. I will give Venice this, right? As far as Venice is concerned, the Venice collection still came in at 1.4x modifier, which is the same as some limited collections. So, okay, I'll accept it, I suppose, but I would have really liked a purple chip for Venice Beach. I mean, come on. It's just me being a little bit sour, though. Pacific Palisades was a big one. That's a 1.52x, and those were not cheap. Westwood is another one. Looking across some of the big names in terms of collections, we've got the Pacific Palisades floor sitting at 76,000, and that is quickly going up. Westwood's floor is sitting at 42,000, and that is also quickly going up. A lot of these limited collections, people are trying to buy on the secondary market. Back when people minted before the collections were announced, because they can't afford to mint like Bel Air. Like we were saying, Bel Air, if you want to go into Bel Air and mint, which there are plenty to mint because they're so expensive. Let's just zoom in here real quick and look at, what about this little guy right here? This is the smallest property I can see on my screen, at least. That is 644,000 UPX. Okay, now, as far as the Bel Air collection is concerned, Bel Air in and of itself needs 3 in the collection, and it's a 1.97 exclusive collection, and that makes sense considering it's going to be like $3,000 to get the collection in general. It's a very, very expensive floor, and we're seeing that across a lot of places. Like I said, we really didn't get any collections in low, cheap areas or anything like that. They were all really, really high-end exclusive zones, and that really rocket shipped the price. Oh boy, Manhattan. Manhattan is underwater right now. They're getting beat up and brought to the cleaners. Manhattan's previous UPX floor is $194,999. The current floor is $153,000. That's down 21.54%. Big smack down there on the UPX floor. It makes sense. People are trying to get really UPX liquid ahead of Los Angeles, and it hasn't seemed to rebound quite yet. As far as the USD floor was $159. Now it's $140. That's down 11.95%. Manhattan is still incredibly expensive to get into. I mean, not going to lie here. We're talking a floor of $153,000. Just the limited collection, the standard, which is only a 1.2x multiplier, is $153,000 just to get in. That's the floor, right? So you need 3 of those. Like, I don't know about you, but I'd rather buy a couple things in the Palisades on the smaller end and let those APYs milk. Nothing against Manhattan in general, but it's just, I think a lot of people are seeing that although it might have been a good store of value before Los Angeles, after Los Angeles, it's definitely getting slapped hard. As far as the collection side of things, we do have some ebbs and flows. On the upside, in the collections perspective, the rare historic NYC collection is up 50%. That was at 15 million, now is at 22.5 million. But as equally up as that was, we also have some that are getting slammed. We have the Skyline Manhattan Rare Collection down from 9.5 million to 5 million, 47.37% down there. We have the 57th Street Rare Collection down 42%. Exclusive Collection in Manhattan, Soho, is down 16.67%. The Limited Collection Chinatown is down 24.32%. They do have the Upper East Side Limited Collection up 38%. So there are some gives and takes. But Manhattan is getting the backhand right now. And it's maybe the big question coming to fruition here is it still a good store of value? Or are there better places for that value? Considering that the floor price here in Manhattan is $153,000, if we bring that same $153,000 over to, let's say, well, the Pacific Palisades, I can mint a palace in the Palisades and earn over 1,000 easily UPX per month, not even being in a collection. What is this $153,000 UPX going to earn me here in Manhattan? 7, 8 a month? It's just not worth it. They're too small. It doesn't bring enough value to the table, and that's why it's getting clubbed so hard. The question of store of value is now shifting. Nashville, on the other side, though, is doing pretty okay. Remember, Nashville is a zone that still has some areas to be minted out. Nashville is going to be the next one up on the list. First off, the previous UPX floor is 10,200. The current floor is at 11,000. That's up 7.48%, doing pretty nicely here in Nashville. The current USD floor is $8.48. The previous floor was $8.47, so that's up a penny. That's up 0.12%. Not exactly a huge move there. Now, on the other side of things, collections are moving around very, very nicely here in Nashville. The first collection being West Nashville. That's a standard collection. Nice little blue chip there. I like that fits that terminology. Anyway, the standard collection in Nashville, West Nashville, is a 1.35x multiplier, and it's a 3-piece property collection. That is up 40.7%. We also have Priest Lake, another standard collection, which is up 20%. And going a little bit further down, Woodmont Boulevard, the exclusive collection, is up 24%. We've got some serious movers on the gaining side for collections here in Nashville, and the whole economy in general is doing just fine. As far as losers, they do have some losers. The biggest loss is the ultra rare collection on Jackson Boulevard. That's down 46% from 5.5 million to 3. Outside of that, really the only other big losses are like 5% here and there in downtown and that. Not really any big movers outside of gains. New Orleans next up on the list. The previous UPX floor is at 10,900. The current floor 10,399. That's down 4.6%. The previous USD floor $898. The current floor, $889. A little bit of a dyslexic twister there. That's down 1%, technically speaking. From a collection standpoint, the exclusive collection on Royal Street is down 35%. Absolutely slapped on Royal Street. Going beyond that, though, a little bit further down, the Audubon Place, an ultra-rare collection, is up 162.63%. Woo, lordy. On some of the more casual side of things, the French Quarter Limited collection is up 7.27%. In St. Charles Ave, the exclusive collection is down 5.71%. We've got some ebbs and flows, but some really big movers here on the upper side of things with the ultra rares. Oakland's next up to the party. In Oakland, previous UPX floor is $13,850. The current UPX floor is $11,900. That's down 14.08%. Nice healthy little pullback there in Oakland. As far as the USD floor, that's only down a penny from $10 to $9.99, so down 0.1%. From a collections perspective, we've got some movers. The standard collection, that blue chip West End, was at $13,999, now is up 19.75% to $16,764. Some nice moves going on there. The exclusive collection UC Berkeley is up 52.63%. But the rare collection Historical Oakland is down 44.44%. We definitely have some back and forths. On some of the cheaper perspectives, the standard collection Piedmont is also down 18.92%. Nice little collection pullback there if you're looking to fill up the coffers. We've got some pretty good ebbs and flows going on here in the Oakland zone. Rutherford, like we were talking about, is on a pullback from last week, and it doesn't look like that has changed. It is continuing to pull back even further. Rutherford's previous UPX floor is at $50,000. Now it's at $45,800. That's down 8.4%. The previous USD floor, interesting here because it's actually flip-flopped. The previous USD floor, $48.99. The current floor is $50.50. That's actually higher than the UPX floor. The USD changes up 3.08%, making it a bit more expensive on the USD side of things. From a collections perspective, all of the collections in Rutherford are exclusive. We've got Park Avenue down 14.57%. Feronia, is down 11.11%, and Carmita is up 4.53%. Now, if you're a value play hunter, San Francisco is another one that is getting the back end of the ugly bat. This thing is getting slapped hard. Previous UPX floor, $36,500. The current floor, $31,000. That's down 15%. So the UPX floor is getting hit, and we already know the rest of the Upland economy is kind of money hungry as far as USD goes, and that also hasn't changed here. Previous USD floor, $29.89, now down to $23.99. That's down 19.74%. Getting slapped pretty hard here over in San Francisco. Now, if you are looking to fill collections and such, that does mean that it's in a nice little pullback here. The standard collection, obviously San Franciscan, in and of itself, is down 15.07%. But Sunset, another standard collection, is down 21.36%. We've got the exclusive collection Haight Street, which is down 13.49%. On the other end of things, though, we do have some gainers. Market Street exclusive collection is up 91%. So we can definitely see that people are still hawking San Francisco from a value perspective. Over in Santa Clara next up, we've got the previous UPX floor at $28,800, the current floor at $24,990, down 13.23%. The previous USD floor is at $27, the current floor is at $24. That's also down 11.11%. We've got some pretty big pullbacks in the California side of things, and Santa Clara is right along with them. That said, the collection side of things is not really reflecting that in Santa Clara. The Santa Clara collections, I mean, aside from being down the 13.23% on the base collection, West Central, a limited collection, is only down 10.3%. North 101, the other limited collection, is only down 4.8%. And Southwest, the top limited collection, is up 4.86%. El Camino, the rare collection, is up 32%. So here again, we can see that value plays are in the collections, not so much in the floor. And then finally, we have Staten Island. Previous UPX floor is $14,850. The current floor, $12,799. That's down 13.81%. And, in the USD floor, $13.70 was last week. $9.99 is this week. That's down 27%. Big ding over here in Staten Island. Here again, though, the collection's not reflecting that at all. In fact, the only collection that is in the negative in Staten Island is Tompkinsville. Jeez. That's down 16.36%. It is a 4-piece collection, so I guess from value, that's kind of nice. But aside from that, I mean, everything else is up. We've got the limited Tottenville collection is up 37.1%. We've got the Tot Hill collection, limited again, is up 25%. And even all the way down the bottom of the list, historic Richmond Town, ultra rare, is up 11.11%. We've got all of these gainers happening and not really much of a pullback. Once again, it seems like all the value is in collections, not so much in the floor. From a personal perspective, looking at last week to this week my total net worth is sitting at $2.95 million. Last week we were sitting at $2.524. So in terms of collections, I had 21 and 141 properties at 2.5. If we look at where we're at now, 27 collections with at 2.9. That's actually up 14.43% week over week. Obviously, with collections and everything, there's been a lot of activity going on there, and there's been some pretty heavy flips too. As far as sold properties and where they're selling, I don't think there's any surprise that the majority of them are happening in Los Angeles. What a shock. Before that, I did have some sales in Illinois while I was trying to get some padding going into the collection releases. In and of itself, though, as far as UPX sales, UPX sales for this week, we're sitting at a total of 580,954. Of which I put in 171,948. So about a 400,000 UPX gain over this past week, which isn't too bad at all. In general, you know, we're getting a lot of back and forth stuff going on with collections. We've got a lot of collection flips. The Melrose properties were easy 10x flips, if not more, depending on how much you want to hold for. I did take one at a small loss to try to get some USD cash flow. I'm money hungry as well, especially with those Valentine's Day things coming around the corner. But you only have to sell 1 or 2 properties at under mint to get that USD cash flow to make that work. All right, well, that's going to do it for this one. There was a lot of extra stuff to cover this time around. It was a bit of a longer recording, but now that Los Angeles is behind us, the collections are behind us, we've got some really fun stuff on the horizon with Valentine's Day and all of that. It should be a really good time, even with Los Angeles in the horizon, in the rear view, if you will. Now we can let the market sort of calm down, get the ripple effects into the water, and get the calm before the next storm. That's going to do it, though, for this week in review on the Upland Metaverse. I hope you and yours are doing well this weekend and your stacks are as thick as ever. Have an amazing rest of your weekend, and we'll see you all back on Monday. Thanks for watching.